Do you enjoy history?
I mean, yes.
So I'd like to talk about something historic then.
Whoa.
If that.
But please do.
Once upon a time, there was a small film.
Okay.
Not really noteworthy for any reason. Didn't really gain any traction. Kind of came and went from the theaters pretty quickly. Not really anyone noticed that, that it was even there.
Is it like an indie film or like what? I'm so curious. What film?
No. It was like a big production film, but just nobody really cared.
Oh.
And that film was called Cats.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're here to talk about Avatar.
Yeah. Well, tomato, same difference, really.
Yeah. I mean, similar but different in a lot of ways, and we will get into some of those ways.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But before that, my name is Brady,
and I'm Pete,
and together we make up three halves of the dynamic trio of the Movie Men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this week we're covering Avatar, as Brady alluded to, and the reason we're covering Avatar is because what we do as a podcast is we quite frequently have votes where we let you guys vote on films to which film we review. And of the two, we're kind of going in a series now, I guess you'd call it, where we're going year by year.
We're spiraling backwards.
Yeah, we're moving backwards year by year. And picking some films from each year. We picked some films from 2009. And of the films, one of them was Avatar, and Avatar won the vote.
Yeah.
And
in a year where we would all love to live in any year other than the year that we're currently in.
Right.
We're doing our damnedest.
Yeah.
So 2018.
What?
Not 18, 28. 2008. Wow.
2009.
2009?
Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on?
What has happened? Have you?
I've only taken one sip of my coffee.
Okay, that was my next question. I'm like, how much of the caffeine have you downed?
Not enough.
Okay, that's okay.
No.
By the end of the ep, we'll be there.
Where I am on my way to caffeine injection.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's shall we get into it? Avatar.
So we're going to talk about, we haven't said this in a while, but just to just to protect anyone who we may inadvertently piss off. We're going to talk about Avatar as if you've watched it, because let's face it, you have.
Yes.
And if you haven't, good for you.
You should get a medal of honor.
Yeah. No, if you haven't seen Avatar, and for some reason it's on a bucket list of yours, maybe don't listen to this. We're gonna spoil some stuff. Like milk. Yeah. But if you have watched Avatar and liked it, great, then listen. If you have watched Avatar and didn't like it, well, there's probably something here for you as well.
Right.
So it's going to work out all around, and we'd love for you to stick around. I just don't want you to get angry.
No.
I don't want anyone to be like, shit, son, they spoiled the,
That's not our goal
now
of our
I know
podcast.
They're all blue.
That's not the goal of our podcast, is to make people angry.
Right. Mm-hmm. Man, that could have been, spoiled eggs or spoiled. We could have had that. We could have taken a completely different angle.
Yeah.
With this podcast.
Yeah.
But chose not to.
No.
Okay. So Avatar.
Usually we started off with a bit of trivia, and I'm going to give you little pieces of information. I'm not actually going to give you a question this week, and here's why.
Yes, this was one of James Cameron's highest grossing films.
Oh, yeah.
In the series of Avatar. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been the answer. I mean, if that was the question.
No, I had a question that I thought I had kind of picked out, and I was just so amazed by it, and it blew me away. I had there's a GIF of Joaquin Phoenix from the movie Signs where he sees the aliens on TV and he backs away and covers his mouth and he's
Right,
euphoric.
right.
That was my reaction when I thought I found the question. And
Okay.
I found it a couple days ago, and something just didn't quite sit right with me. And then I dug deeper and fact checked, and I'm like, yeah, that's not right. So can't ask that question. It wasn't even a question to ask to begin with. It's not applicable anymore. As a result, I don't have a question to ask you. I'm just going to drop some information about Avatar to you real quick.
Yeah, sure.
To no surprise, highest grossing film worldwide for nearly a decade. And it was finally removed from that throne with Avengers Endgame in 2019. So almost 10 years, right? So pretty lucrative. To this day...
For some reason.
To this day, though, Avatar still remains the second highest grossing film when adjusted for inflation, second to only Gone with the Wind.
Right.
And the final little tidbit of information. So Avatar had 9 Oscar nominations, and one of them was Best Picture. And I read this online. The following films are actually still waiting for their case to be heard in the Supreme Court for their Best Picture snub from 2009. So Angels and Demons is waiting, Sherlock Holmes, even Harry Potter, the Half-Blood Prince, and hell, even The Proposal, a Ryan Reynolds rom-com, should be pissed they got a snub from Best Picture to Avatar.
The Proposal is a great film.
Heck, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying for rom-coms usually aren't your running candidates for Best Picture. And
Oh, no.
I still think it has more merit than Avatar.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah. So the film itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, out of everything you've said, the Gone with the Wind thing still blows my mind.
Right.
That even adjusted for inflation.
Yeah.
Endgame. Everybody went to go see Endgame 5 times.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I believe you. I believe the numbers.
I hear you. But it is...
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It's a head scratcher. That is a profound...
So many people in a time when...
Yeah.
It wasn't even it wasn't a big event to go to the movies.
Right. There wasn't as much stuff pumping it up hey, I just watched a YouTube video pumping this movie. No, it's 1939.
Right. It wasn't the must-see film of the summer. Woof,
exactly.
Woof, starring Vin Diesel, right?
Right. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That just blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to point out that hating Avatar has become the cool thing. Not even just in our show.
No.
It's kind of Avatar. It's a lot of people dislike this film. But I would say disliking it has almost become trendy. It's almost become, people dislike the film without necessarily their own reasoning. They just dislike the film.
That's I hear what you're saying.
That's just it's like a Team Edward, Team Jacob thing, and this just happens to be the side that they're on.
Sure.
And this show has been no exception.
Oh, I think even from it's either episode 1 or 2, we were already kind of throwing it under the bus.
Avatar has been the butt of many a jokes on the Movie Men podcast.
Oh yeah. Well, second only to your Lost in Translation.
Oh yeah. Well,
but
that's the biggest piece of. Anyways,
good sir, we will agree to disagree. But yeah, Avatar thrown under the bus.
And so, a little bit of insider when we're picking the 4 films for you to vote on. Pete picks 2 and I pick 2.
Yep.
Avatar was one of my 2.
Yeah.
And I could feel I could feel when I made that known to Pete, I could feel, even though it was we were remote.
Yeah, like it was via text. It wasn't even like FaceTime. Like it was a text.
It wasn't even. I couldn't hear his voice.
No, you couldn't see my face.
No, I couldn't see nothing. But the second I clicked send, I could feel your hands tightening around my neck.
Yeah.
And but the reason the reason I chose it, the reason why I put Avatar in there was because I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to say
kind of like a fear factor.
No. I'd rather watch Avatar than eat Madagascar hissing cockroaches any day. No, I acknowledge that there's a shit ton of people out there who hate the film because it's cool to hate it.
Yep.
And I wasn't entirely sure that wasn't me. And so I wanted to. It was sort of a exploratory mission to sit down and once and for all find out, is Avatar deserving of all of the shade that I'm throwing its direction, or is it actually a respectable film and should I lay off? So that's I feel like that's an important. It's kind of like a land acknowledgement, but way different, right? Like it's
right.
It's going into this. It's important that everyone understands. Historically on the show, we've hated the movie.
Sure.
And that's why I picked it. As an option.
That's very cool, and I have to admit. Obviously, when I read it, like there was a smile across my face that it was one of your choices, and I was like, "You son of a gun!" But yeah. I did realize there was some significance to it as a choice, and for me, I found it a valid choice because it was so culturally significant, and even just from a filmmaking perspective, from the influence it had on the filmmaking landscape. Regardless of whether you like it or not, it was such a monumental film that if it won, which it did, it probably deserves some conversation or some attention. So I was very okay with it being an option as much as I maybe like or dislike the film.
Oh, hugely so. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, our opinion of this is unique because our opinion of the film has already been made clear.
Yep.
So really, what we're talking about today is, has this reviewing, as the most recent viewing of Avatar for you, in any way impacted or changed your outlook on the film? So that's the question I want to ask you. I want to start by saying, so Pete, you hate Avatar, but you just rewatched it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it basically the needle didn't move. The needle was about the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to. I definitely gave this movie a unique view because I was also trying to remember my first viewing of it, and man, there was just something special about it. Like I remember what an event it was. Like, right. I remember where I saw it. I remember who I saw it with. I remember it being talked about so much in the media. I remember it being talked about, more importantly, just in my social circles, which for like a teenage moviegoer, I think that's more important at times than the media. And I just remember truly being excited. Like, everyone had talked about it. When I was waiting in the theater, I was just eagerly waiting for the lights to dim. And it wasn't just a thing to do. Like, it wasn't just a way to kill an evening.
Did you see this movie in the theater that I think you saw this movie in?
No,
you went to an actual big, proper theater.
This is when I lived in a city in the Golden the Golden Horseshoe, as the Ontario listeners will understand.
So you went to a Cineplex. You went to like a Galaxy or a Silver City or something. Okay,
absolutely,
cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is when I was in university. So I just remember I was so eagerly awaiting this, and at the first time I saw it, in some ways it lived up to it. This anticipation, which says a lot considering how much was riding on it. And in some ways, even at the time, it didn't live up to it. Both like the day of when the credits rolled and then as the years went by. So
Right.
my long way of answering your question is when I scored this film, when I watched it this week for this podcast, I gave it 2 rankings. I gave it the ranking that I is watching it this week. And I also tried to rank it from how I remembered it when I first saw it. So I know that's quite subjective, quite hard to do 10 plus years later, but I was just trying to compare my impression of it then and now. So the long answer to your question is it's still ranked where I thought it would today, and it didn't rank very well. And at the end, I'll tell you what that was. It was a pretty low number. But I wasn't surprised. I didn't start watching it and, go on Amazon as we were watching it to order the deluxe 10-year anniversary on Blu-ray, DVD, and VHS. I wasn't calling my nearest tattoo parlor to say, you know what, I've been wrong all these years. I'm getting that Avatar tattoo right across my back. Even to the point of saying, hey, I'm going to bump this up and say it's an okay film, not the best, not the worst. I wasn't even at that level, but.
Oh, wow. So yeah, literally had zero impact on your impression of this film.
Yeah. There were some merits, definitely. And I saw through my bias of saying I don't overall like this film, but there were some things I gleaned from it. But I think I had gleaned those in the past historically. And I'll talk about one of those things later, but I'm curious what your kind of opinion was when watching it this week, if it was changed, unchanged, where you stood on this.
So going into it, I thought I don't like this movie, but I'm excited to watch it.
Sure.
I was excited to sit down, watch the movie, and sort of find out, again, challenge myself, find out, am I completely out to lunch in my appraisal of this film?
Yeah.
Or do I know what I'm talking about?
Sure. Yeah.
And the movie ended, and my honest to goodness feeling coming out of the film was, I'm the father who has to swallow his pride and look at his son and say, boy, I've been too hard on you.
Really? Interesting.
I've expected too much of you.
Okay.
And I have not appreciated your achievements, even though they've been right in front of me this whole time.
Sure.
Now, I'm still not going to buy the film. It's on Disney Plus. Thank goodness, because it meant I didn't have to spend any additional money on it.
Thank the maker.
Thank the maker. But I don't need to own it. I don't need to watch it again. I think it's the same as I felt about Mulan. If I came across someone who said, I've never seen Avatar, I would say, oh, well, okay, we should watch it then. You should see Avatar.
Sure.
But I'm not gonna, it's not like every 3 months like clockwork I have to, whatever the hell roasting a bowl of popcorn looks like. I need to do that and curl up in a weighted blanket.
Right.
Which, by the way, I just discovered that weighted blankets are a thing.
So can you just explain to me, and the audience who might not know what it is, what is a weighted blanket?
So a weighted blanket, do you not know what it is?
I don't think so.
So a weighted blanket is, picture a comforter, or almost like a duvet. Picture a duvet.
Oh, okay.
Not in its thickness or its makeup, but just in the sense that it's like a pocket. And whatever the stuffing is like infused with lead, or I have no idea.
Sure.
This is a blanket that, let's say the blanket is 8 feet by 10 feet.
Sure.
if you scrunch this thing up in a ball and drop it on the floor, it makes a thud.
Interesting.
And I think the idea is that it's supposed to, it's there's probably some neurological thing about us being in the womb and, the pressure, how that's like a comforting thing is to have some, it kind of feels like maybe the blanket's holding you or something. I sat down to watch a movie and put a weighted blanket on. Just because I was like, oh yeah, like one was available to me, and I'm like, oh cool, like I didn't know this was a thing. It is the most anxiety-inducing, awful experience. A weighted blanket is terrible. It's terrible.
Interesting.
Like I sat down and I just felt like there was something sitting on my chest. I was like, get this thing off of me, get this thing off of me. Yeah, it was terrible. So, anyways, I don't love Avatar now.
Sure.
There was a couple of things that I expected to be better than they were. A couple of things that I was kind of disappointed with. But then there's also things that I didn't think I would like as much, and I genuinely found endearing.
Okay.
So kind of a mixed bag there. But we'll get into that.
Yeah. Something, it's interesting to read, like I read something about quote unquote development, to whatever the extent that meant, of Avatar by James Cameron began as early as 1994, so even before Titanic.
And I've heard that.
It's an interesting concept, just that he literally spent 15 years on this project. So that is a cool aspect. And there was even a time, I think it was around Titanic. I'm not sure if it was, I think it was maybe a little bit after, but regardless, he potentially could have started filming and he said, no, the necessary technology I want for this project isn't available. And to me personally, when I read that, as much as we rip on Avatar, as much as we rip on the story, the film, everything about it, to me, that is dope because one, it is a project of his that he put so much blood and sweat and tears into, but more so that he had a vision for it. And he said, this isn't the time for it to exist. We need about 10 or 15 years. And at that point, then it will be living out what I am envisioning. And there's something very cool about that. Just as far as
he let that crock pot of chili simmer an entire another night.
Right. I think it comes down to like just him being an artist. He's not just a guy putting out films that make money, which is essentially what he does anyway. But there's something about the artistic component of that's saying, no, I probably could put this out. I've done a lot with Titanic. I could probably put this out, make some money, but it won't be the film that I'm wanting. I need X, Y, and Z before I can truly be happy about this project. And there's just something intrinsic about that artistic process that I read and I said, you know what? Kudos to you, James Cameron. That component is cool.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Mm-hmm. I will have a brief something that I think the film has merit in, but I do also have to kind of take a detour on something that has bothered me from the day I watched the film to last night when I was brushing my teeth.
Okay.
Yeah. So I found something on it's called HuffPost.com, and it's not something that is new to me. It's something that I thought of as I was watching the film, when I put my popcorn bag in the garbage can when I left the theater, and just this website articulated these thoughts in a nice, concise order, so I used their thoughts here. But honest to goodness, and I think I've mentioned this before when I've ripped Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar is a complete and utter ripoff of Disney's Pocahontas. Completely. Like
I haven't seen it, so I can't.
I'm going to go down a whole list, and someday when you watch Pocahontas, and the listeners who have watched Pocahontas will go, "Yep."
And okay. So I haven't seen Pocahontas, but everything you're saying right now, I have heard.
You have heard. That's fair. For those who haven't heard, I mean, Pocahontas covers a ship with John Smith arriving to a new world in North America. What does Avatar have? A guy named Jake Sully arriving to a lush new world called Pandora. Pocahontas, they're mining for gold. Cameron's...
Wait, wow. Even the initials are the same.
They're the same. They're literally the same. In Cameron's Avatar, instead of mining for gold, they're mining for unobtainium. John Smith begins exploring, encounters Pocahontas. Jake Sully begins exploring, finds, I'm horrible with pronouncing, Neytiri, I believe it's pronounced. Initially distrustful, Pocahontas gets a message from Grandmother Willow and helps her overcome her fear of John Smith. In Avatar, same thing, but for the Tree of Souls. The two spend a lot of time with each other. Pocahontas' father is a chief. Neytiri's father is a chief. There's a whole thing with Pocahontas kind of being in an arranged marriage with Kocoum, not into it. Neytiri is kind of set up for a set marriage, and she's not into it. Over time, eventually John and Pocahontas find that they have love for each other. Same with Avatar, with our two characters. Just everything from the settlers believing that the natives are savages in both films, the warrior kind of marriage set person for the female characters. Both try to kill John or Jake, depending on the film that we're talking about. The settlers prepare to attack the natives. John or Jake is blamed for crap that he didn't do. And the climaxes of both films, Pocahontas and Neytiri risk their lives to save John and Jack. And eventually John and Pocahontas and Jake and Neytiri finally have each other, and the two groups eventually, to some degree, resolve their differences. Like, there is a whole set list that it is just point for point. It's Disney's Pocahontas with Smurfs. That's all it is.
You don't know my takeaway from everything you just said?
What's that?
I now have no need to watch Pocahontas.
Yeah, but the thing is, you do, because it's a better film. Well, actually, I'm not sure about that. It's one of those films that I'm not sure.
Did you grow up with Pocahontas?
I did.
So you have nostalgia. You would probably enjoy it more. There are things going when you sit down to watch Pocahontas. Your enjoyment is being impacted by more things than just the quality of the film.
Yeah, like Christian Bale.
Is he in it?
He is.
Oh, I don't like Christian Bale, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah,
because his Batman movies are my least favorite Batman movies.
Oh,
but that's a
what is
I know. We'll
get there.
We're gonna work through Batman at some point, and then
we'll get there.
That'll be a whole can of worms, boy.
Yeah, I'd say Anyway, we'll get to Batman someday. My point is, yes, definitely some nostalgia playing into Pocahontas, but I just think overall as a film, better than Cameron's Avatar, in some ways.
Interesting. Yep. All right. Anything else, sir? You know.
Not in the negative. Actually, I have something positive to say whenever you want me to kind of chime in on something positive, believe it or not.
Well, let me do some negative stuff.
I will not only let you do that, but I will intervene, I'm assuming, and say, yeah. Here.
I mean, obviously, you have to sit down and ask yourself, why was this movie as big as it was?
Sure.
Because I saw this movie in the theaters like 5.5 months after its initial release. It was still in the theaters.
Right.
You could go see this movie for the longest time. It was spent like half a year in the theaters.
Just for context, it was released in 2009, but I also didn't see it till 2010 in theaters.
Right. And we're not talking about, like, the same thing can be said for The Rise of Skywalker, but that came out in like the last week.
True.
Last 2 weeks of This thing was half a year in the theater.
Yeah.
And why did it have those legs? So the thing that I think I always attributed to its success was that it's a visual masterpiece.
Sure.
Right? That visually it's this stunning film, and that it was a leap forward, a massive leap forward. I always considered it in the back of my mind, even though I didn't really remember the movie. I hadn't seen it. This is quite likely my second viewing of it ever. I probably haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater.
That's interesting. I've seen it probably maybe. Me watching it this week was probably my third or maybe fourth viewing. More likely third.
But in my mind, there was a big stamp on the folder of Avatar, and the stamp said, "Leap forward in visual technology."
Oh, yeah.
Right? Big deal. And there are some incredibly mesmerizing and stunning shots in this film.
Which hold the phone. Like, I mean, good on James Cameron. This isn't a new chapter in his book. Like, we've had a whole podcast episode on Titanic where some of the things you're saying, but pushing the envelope, making advancements, leaps and bounds. This isn't new for James Cameron in Avatar. He's done this before, and he did it again.
James Cameron's not going to make a film unless he feels like he's really bringing something to the table with it.
Right.
Which is why I'm curious with the fact that we're getting 4 more Avatar movies. Only because, only because if this is a cash grab, it reeks of cash grab.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But if it is, it's the first. He's in his 60s, and it's the first time he's ever done that. So I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope that James Cameron he knows something, he sees something that we don't yet know or see. I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, there are some stunning scenes, particularly Sully when he's trying to get away from some beast. Jumps into the water, dives off a waterfall into the water, and then emerges on the shoreline.
Yeah, quite early on, yeah.
Yeah, emerges on the shoreline, and he's like up to his waist in a rushing current, and just the water sort of hitting him and beating off of him and stuff. And I'm looking at it going, good Lord, like this is a complex shot.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
Having said that, there are several visual effects shots in this film that do not hold up. Pretty much any of the time that there's a human inside one of those mech suits.
Oh, okay.
It looks awful. Like, looks really janky and weird. There's some weird CGI that's done on the faces of the soldiers when they have those breathing masks on.
Oh, okay.
And that was just jarring. It was like Uncanny Valley type stuff.
Okay.
But the thing, it's early on, and there's one shot that's sticking out to me that is particularly bad from a visual effects standpoint. And it's early on. It's when Jake first arrives, and you kind of see the outside of the military base, and there's ships taking off, and there's mech soldiers walking past, and there's all this stuff happening, and he's kind of like, just overwhelmed and lost and amazed by it all.
Sure.
And it looks, I kid you not, it looks like a video game cutscene. Everything in that shot looks weird. Everything.
If it's the shot you're talking about, I think I clued in, or at least what stood out to me, like even there was like a truck rolling, like with its wheels spinning, and I just looked at that truck and I was like, what is, there's something wrong with that.
Something is wrong with this.
Yeah.
It looks like an incredible, like a next generation video game cutscene, but it looks like a video game cutscene.
Sure. Yep.
Which, and I mean, was still a technology leap. This isn't necessarily me knocking the film.
No.
But it was a negative in my experience, and I was surprised how, for something that I went into thinking this experience is going to be a unbelievably visually stunning experience. There were several shots in the film that just didn't hold up at all.
Yeah.
And so that was really interesting for me. It does make me like, so in the 10 years since this film has come out, 11 years since this film has come out,
Sure.
we've made so many, like it's our CGI ability is getting better rapidly.
Interesting. Okay. Yep.
And I kept thinking while I was watching this film, if people thought this film looked good in 2009,
Mm-hmm.
wait until, like, honestly, Avatar 2 in 2022
Mm-hmm.
is going to be, or has no reason not to be, has no business not being breathtaking.
You raised a good point. That's true. Yeah.
But has something working against it.
And as much as I have to say, I'm not as optimistic as you are. I kind of cringe when I think of 2, 3, 4 coming out. But that's a fair point. That is...
Sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Insert an extra cringe. But that is a true point that regardless, even if it is not a good film, not a good story, from a tech perspective and a visual perspective and a filmmaking perspective, James Cameron won't mail it in.
No, he's not going to. And it's taken him this long. Now he's kind of working on them all consecutively.
Okay. Interesting.
And so we have release dates. Like, these things are coming out 2022, 2024, 2026, and 2028.
Wow.
Every 2 years. And then Disney has said on the off years, so we'll get an Avatar movie every other Christmas, and every other Christmas we'll get a Star Wars movie.
Wow.
So yeah, every year you're going to bounce back and forth.
Okay.
But I think what's interesting is, yeah, he's got even more ridiculous technology at his fingertips now with motion capture and all this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But we're also not, like, there was, when James Cameron came out with Avatar, there was nothing else like it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of stuff like this now.
Sure.
Visually. And so,
yes. Yep.
You know, I think it's going to have to, I don't know. I wonder if Avatar 2 is set up for failure as a result of that, of the fact that we're not going to be blown away by a digital world anymore because, well, we have that. We've seen that.
Yeah.
In a dozen plus movies.
Right.
So, I don't know.
It's hard to know. Time will tell.
That's my big negative. Honestly, my big negative. And it's a long movie.
It is so... I think I forgot how long it was. Like 2 and 40 minutes,
2:40? Yeah. It's close to 3 hours. It's closer to 3 hours than it is to 2.
Yes.
And the whole last hour of the film, I don't know. The whole last hour of the film, once I had finished the last hour of the film, I thought to myself, yeah, I think all of that was necessary. I think all of that came together well to tell a good story. Okay. However, at the 2 hour and 40 minute mark, when we had an hour left, I thought to myself, there was sort of like a little mini climax and resolution that happened. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, okay, like, that can be it. Like, we can be done. There's another hour left? My God, what the hell are they going to do with another hour? But then ultimately the end came, and I was like, no, okay, that was all good. Like,
right.
That works. That all works. But
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's something you liked about it?
Well, just for the record, Pocahontas is shorter, and it's a musical, and I know you don't like it, but Christian Bale. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, I like Christian Bale in Empire of the Sun.
Yeah. That's a film I need to watch again, just because it's been a long time.
Yeah, he's young and innocent there, though.
Yeah, he is. So we've kind of hit on this a little bit, but I just want to touch on it again. So one aspect that I think this film has some merit, and you asked me this when we just actually reviewed the 2020 Mulan, and regarding that Disney Plus film, you asked me when I ranked that film, would I have given it a different ranking or possibly a better ranking if I had seen it in theaters? And that question was a good question, and it's resonated with me, and it resonated with me when I was thinking about Avatar. So, yes, I think Avatar is a story, it's a film, it's really not that great. And I think it's blown out of proportion. We've kind of hit on that. But, dang, I'll say it again, what an amazing experience it was in 2009. Like, when I was watching it this week, I was still able to remember, there were scenes where I'm like, that don't impress me much now, but I was still able to remember my initial reactions of various scenes. Just, there were some visuals, some audio effects, some soundtrack moments that they all just infused. And when I was sitting in that theater watching it all unfold on a 3D screen, just specifically, it kind of came to a head for me when Jake spent that first night alone in the jungle, and there was just so many breathtaking things. Like, I remember in the night that we were seeing and all the different flowers and those animals' eyes in the dark. I'm just saying, my one merit that I want to say kudos to this film, just through that one specific lens, I'm willing to budge and say this was an immense work of art, just visually, when I saw it in theaters. And
Sure.
if I only viewed it the one time in 3D with a magical sound system in a perfect environment that is a theater and had never watched it at home, I would have given it a much better scoring. And that's why when we say what score we have, I'm going to give you 2 scores. And I think my scoring of this film and my perception of its accomplishment would obviously be higher if I had just seen it once. And I know this would never, ever occur. We live in a world where films are here to make money, but just from an artistic perspective, what this film, I just feel this film would be so perfect if it had just been released in theaters and never released at home. And if it had just been re-released periodically in theaters, not only to just watch it in the perfect environment to get what James Cameron was trying to articulate, but also then if it's done periodically, you could brush up some things here and there as tech advances came through. And I know that's not the world we live in. That's like, films are going to be released on home release when they're that successful. That's just the way it is. But I do think his artistic endeavor is a little cheapened when you can watch it on your iPad on Disney Plus, when you're not watching it in the absolute optimal display. And
that is entirely how I feel about the movie Gravity.
Yeah,
I saw Gravity in the theater and I was blown away. I was like, man.
Right. Yeah.
And then I saw it like 2 weeks later, not 2 weeks later, I guess whenever it came out on Blu-ray. I went to show it to someone on a much smaller screen, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is a shit film. Like the story's bad.
Yeah.
And the visuals are cool, but not on this friggin' 36-inch display. They're not. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, ultimately, I think just it didn't, from an artistic perspective, home release and not viewing it in optimal conditions really didn't do this film any favors. So, are we at the point where we will score this film?
No, I haven't. I don't know.
No, please be my guest.
I think the story. So I haven't seen Pocahontas, so I'm
Sure.
not getting any of the this is a ripoff vibe.
You will, my good sir, you will.
And you know what? I think there's a lot of layers to this story. There's the brother who, shares the genome, but he's not the scientist. He's just the grunt. And so there's that internal struggle. There's the changing races, like the guy changes races. He becomes a Na'vi in the end, which is I feel like a bigger change than, I assume John Smith becomes a native. Does he become a native or becomes,
He
interacts.
He interacts with them. He doesn't like. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't know. There's I think a lot. I think as far as the writing of this film goes, I think James Cameron has taken a concept like Pocahontas, I guess,
Mm.
um, and just added so much. He's created his own world entirely, and created a language, and created an ecosystem, and a religion, and it just seems so creatively rich to me as a film. That I found myself watching it. I was blown away by the visuals in many moments, and even when I wasn't blown away by the visuals in the way that I was wanting to be, or was even let down and disappointed by the visuals, I was finding myself impressed, and I was finding a lot of richness in the story and the way that the story was being told, and the depth of the world that he created.
Yeah.
So
It's very cool. Just we referenced how long he had been working on this, literally coming up with another language and kind of like creating a society and a culture.
Yeah.
It's
like
it's very in depth. I will take your point. I'm not in agreement with it, but I will hear it. I just think the deeper underpinnings of a story that could have kind of projected it to the next level, like you just talked about, kind of the underpinnings of having his brother who he was taking his place and like becoming another race. I just feel like in a film that's 2 hours and 40 minutes, this wasn't that film's bread and butter. Like, I feel like story-wise, those elements are there, but they're just kind of skimmed over. Like, that's not what this film succeeded at for me. And it was kind of focused its time in it and its efforts on in other areas. And for me, I would say, yeah, those things were there, but they weren't hit out of the ballpark.
Okay. Well, score it then, boy.
Boy. So when I watched it last week on Disney Plus, I gave it a 2.2 out of 10. So for my scale, that means I would maybe watch it again if I was at the cottage. It was raining. There was no Wi-Fi, and there was a VHS copy, and we said, let's see what this puppy has. I might or might not watch it. When I tried to put on my hat, thinking about how I remembered being influenced by this film in 2010, I think the best I could, rescore it with that mindset, I gave it a 7.2 out of 10. If I had just seen it in 2010, walking out of the IMAX theater, and had never watched it again, I would have said, yeah, that's probably a 7.2 out of 10.
Wow. Okay. That's fair.
And
commendable.
And not for story elements per se, but just there was all these other elements of just the visuals and how, it made me feel, and the enjoyment and being in awe. Sure. And when I watched it last week on Marshall scale, it was very similar to my scale. On Marshall scale, I gave it a 2 or a 3 out of 10.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm a believer now, man. I
I don't know what that means.
I'm not infatuated with the film by any stretch of the imagination.
Sure.
But I give it a 7.4 out of 10, which is
wow.
Eons higher than what I expected to give it.
Wow.
I think it's good. I think it's a fun watch. I think it's fascinating, and I am genuinely anticipating to see what happens next.
It will be an adventure, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. And we'll go and we'll now pay money to go see that film. When prior to rewatching this film, I was not going to go see Avatar 2. I don't care. We have this show, so I probably would have gone to go see Avatar 2.
Maybe.
For the sake of the show.
Yeah.
But now I'm definitely going to go.
Mm-hmm. But
So.
I'm going to do two things real quick. You piqued my interest. I'm curious, which would you rather re-watch? Mulan, the Disney 2020 version, or Avatar?
Ooh.
And while you're contemplating that, I'm going to give an impromptu shout out to Emily Mader, who used her bonus Patreon votes and blatantly said, I want to have you guys watch this, essentially for our discomfort and for us groaning in pain.
Yeah. Oh, damn. I'm gonna say Mulan. I'd rather watch Mulan.
Sure.
Probably because it's shorter. Like, I don't know.
Yep. Sure.
Because it's less of a commitment.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And actually, I think I maybe found Mulan more visually stunning than Avatar.
Sure.
So,
yeah,
which is, I guess says a lot just right there too.
Yeah, and I mean, Mulan has 10 years on Avatar, and so I'd probably agree with you. The visuals are better, and even from just an underlying story, I think Mulan, I was more interested when we watched it last week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Did you watch anything this week?
I did not. It was a busy week, so I just watched the films that we will be reviewing. Instead of talking about what I watched this week, I'm going to leave a Easter egg question here for Marshall, a listener of the show. I'm curious what he would rather watch, Avatar or Dogtooth, both 2009 films. Curious for your response. What did you watch this week, Brady?
So I was to have 2 movie nights.
Oh, yeah.
Neither of which happened. A movie night happened, but neither of the films that were going to be watched got watched.
Okay.
So the films that were going to be watched,
lay them on me. Lay them down.
Were The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Never seen it, but I've heard of it.
And The Sound of Music.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah. Both of which were exciting experiences for me because it was with a group of people who had not seen either.
Wow.
So they were both opportunities for me to show a movie to someone for the first time.
For those who don't know, Brady, like that is how you get your energy. Some people are extroverts. They gain energy from being with people. Some people are introverts. They gain energy from being at home and recharging. You gain your energy from watching films with people and exposing them to films that you love that they haven't seen. Like that is how you recharge.
Correct. Interestingly, the group of people in question, and like I don't know, this is the greatest. This is like Christmas to me.
Okay.
They have not seen Star Wars.
Oh man.
And they have not seen Back to the Future.
Ooh. Wow.
So buckle that shit up because it's about to get wild. No, this just makes me so excited because it's like, oh man, I can live vicariously through you, and I can experience you. I can experience the movies again for the first time.
Sure.
Through you.
Yep. That's cool.
That's exciting.
That's very cool.
So the movie that we did end up watching was also you've never even heard of this movie. And so we sat down and watched it, and that was Space Jam.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's it was good. Space Jam is I never watch it and go, why did I like this again? No, I watch it and go, oh yeah. This is
that's
you take something with the Looney Tunes and you add a goofy Michael Jordan aspect to it, and then you pepper that baby with some Bill Murray. You know how the saying goes. As long as it's not lost in translation, Bill Murray will make everything tolerable.
Oh, there it is. Of note, I have not seen Space Jam, but I am aware of its cultural significance and how people are into it.
It's so good. It's so good.
Cool.
So that's it. That's all I watched other than... well, that's not true. I watched the first maybe 15 minutes of The Host.
Oh.
And then it was determined, no, let's not watch a movie. Let's do something else.
Cool.
So that was kind of I don't know. It doesn't really count. But.
No. Cool.
So slap some lipstick on this thing and send it away.
Well, if you haven't already, please check out our links below. Like, follow, subscribe officially on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's where we send out our news and send out our future votes, where you can vote and influence what movies we review next. If you're interested, check out our Patreon page below and our merchandise page below if you'd like to support the show. If you're not at that level of support yet, no worries. Just even giving us a like and a comment on the episode page means a lot. We love hearing feedback, and thank you for listening.
Legitimately, every time you say we send out our news, all I hear is we send out our nudes. And I don't think it's an issue with the way that you're saying it. I just think maybe I need to be evaluated. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
No comment?
To be honest, your phone cut out a little bit, so I can't comment.
Oh, okay. Should we? What do we do here?
Just repeat it, and hopefully you can splice
Okay.
it up.
Honestly, every time you say we send out our news, the only thing I hear is we send out our nudes, and I don't think that's. I don't think it's an issue with the way you're saying it. I think maybe just I need to be evaluated.
Hey, we all need to be evaluated, so just know that we're not sending out nudes. It's news.
Right. Yeah. We use a different account for that's that's the hidden tier 5 on Patreon. But $100 a month is steep, and so I don't I don't blame anyone for not signing up yet.
Yeah,
it'll happen.
We'll get there.
Until next time. Spay and neuter your siblings. And that's not right.
That is not right.